I don't really know what to say right now. On the one side, much like everybody else, I am completely, completely outraged that a human being was able to stalk another human as if they were an animal and murder them in cold blood and not even so much as be arrested. That a former convicted felon was allowed to still have a handgun. That a human being was allowed to talk to 911 and be told by a dispatcher or a 911 operator, whatever you want to call them, to stand down. And he proceeded to stalk a human. I don't know what the terms for these actions are. You've got wrongful imprisonment. You've got, ain't nothing involuntary about it. He voluntarily slaughtered that young man. Voluntary. Then there's no arrest. And the young man's allowed to go as a John Doe for a couple of days. That bothers me. That really bothers me. What bothers me more is the fear that we're all calling for this guy Zimmerman's arrest. Everybody wants him to be arrested. Everybody's out and we're wearing our hoodies. We're showing a sign of solidarity. But what happens the day he gets arrested? Anybody remember the Genesis? Countless other scenarios where we banded together for one very popular cause, and the moment it was over, we all went back to our happy little corners. Ask yourself, does anybody remember the entire speech from the Million Man March? Hell, the Million Family March, the Million Woman March. Does anybody remember anything they were told then? Do you remember the countless rallies you've been to? What about the Louisiana demonstrations when we were talking about the hurricane and what happened in, what was it, Ninth Ward? What do we remember? What do we hold on to? My fear, my biggest fear, is that this is going to be a passing fad. And I too may be guilty of this. However, what I have not done is gone outside and put on a hoodie. Unlike some people, I realize that I actually look threatening in a hoodie. I'm a 6'2", 260-pound black man who rarely smiles. Though I understand the show of solidarity, there are some things that you gotta look at and ask yourself, is this what I should be doing? Or what more can I do? So there's some of us that are still lying to ourselves, and we're telling ourselves we're standing up for Travon. We're here for him. We're supporting him. Have you made a phone call to a sheriff's office? Have you made a phone call to a politician's office? Have you forwarded an email? Have you signed a petition? Have you sat down and looked at the laws in the state of Florida, or more specifically the neighborhood the young man was in? Have you looked at the rules regarding neighborhood watch? Have you looked at the rules regarding handgun permits? What have you really looked into other than being a part of the latest fashion trend? And I'm not saying that this young man's death is something fashionable. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we have got to make absolutely certain that we do something more than put on hoodies and talk to each other on Facebook and Twitter and MySpace and Flickr and whatever else medium we're on. We got to do something more than that. We've got to be proactive. In case you haven't noticed, I'm going to tie something else in that's kind of telling of the times right now. There's something wrong with humanity. There's a movie that just was released called The Hunger Games. If you go on Twitter, you'll see quite a few people, I'm not going to say their race, quite a few people that like the book less because all of a sudden 3 of the main characters happen to be black. The deaths were less tragic because the characters happened to be black. That's just, something's wrong with that. And something's wrong when we can sit there and one arrest will make us happy. One young person released from a prison wrongfully will make us happy. No, 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 no. This is not about one black person here. This is not about one black person there. This is not just about black people. This is about humanity. And the biggest problem that I think we've made somewhere along the way is we were so busy trying to make ourselves equal, we turned around and made ourselves separate again. Are we looking for equality or are we looking for separation? It's a question you got to look in the mirror and ask yourself. What are we fighting for? And if it's fighting for equality, why do we keep stopping?